Fresh Monday.
We made it through the weekend.
Mm.
So if you are listening to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, and I am Kiana.
I'm Maurice.
And we are brought to you by the New Image Project, better known as CDAD, because we are redefining what's cool, because smart is the new gangster, baby.
New gangster.
Go ahead.
Baby.
Yeah. Oh, see, look at my co-host coming on in, baby. And if you didn't know, now you know.
Now you know.
Yeah. So how was your weekend?
My weekend was smooth. It was comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It was all preparatory, getting ready for this week's full events.
Okay.
Most of all, I was excited about meeting you this morning.
Okay.
I was looking forward to seeing Jabbar, but it looks like Jabbar got the voice, but he changed the body.
Yeah.
I am here, Jabbar.
Oh, you Jabbar.
I'm Jabbar. Yes.
His voice, his speaking voice, because
he
he's
wanted the speaking voice.
Because that's what he said. Mr. Edmond.
Yes, Mr. Edmond.
So, Mr. Edmond, if you somewhere listening, we got the deep baritone voice here to replace you.
Oh, to honor you.
Oh, well, to honor you this morning.
Yes.
Since you're not in your seat, somebody else had to take it. And there's also Sister Tashawn's birthday. Brother John better have.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday.
Today is her birthday. So
yes. Yes, happy birthday to what we call our First Lady as well. First Lady.
So you know what? I don't know if she called herself First Lady.
Okay. Well, she has an honorable husband.
Yes, she does.
And they say any honorable husband who's known in the gate is known because of who his wife is.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not just behind him; she's with him, and she's always active. Great smile and great energy. So God bless you and happy birthday.
Right, because those are that is a team that if you look at, I never aspired to be anybody.
Yes.
Right, but I love that duo.
Yes.
I look at duos and I love Black couples. I'm all about Black love. I'm about love, period. But to see a unit that moves seamlessly. Regardless, because nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? You never know what happens behind closed doors. Right. So that's why I don't strive to be anybody. But what I can tell you, the support there is 100% real. He lights up even when she pop up on,
when she pops up on the scene.
When she pop up,
see it in his face.
Soon as Tashawn come on over here and he know he listening, she that's my baby. Hey. Baby, and one time we were having a conversation about wants and needs.
Yes.
And if you want somebody and need somebody, and we were having this conversation, and I was like, do you think you want your wife or you need your wife? And he was like, I need her.
Yes.
He was like, I need her. And the way he said it and he thought about it, I felt it.
I can believe that. I walked up on him just recently, and I spoke. I was happy to see him. I think we was at the 100-man march. Antonio Brown, shout out to him, and book club. And I said hi, and I said, tell the wife I said hi. And he said, I'm gonna be honest with you, I would be nothing without her. He said she actually saved his life. There was a pivotal point in his life as a young man where he wasn't interested in just going the way he should. He was wavering. And she told him, you get on out there and do what you got to do today. And that particular day, one of his friends came over and some things happened with his friends that would have changed his life. So I imagine that not only she's his better half, she's actually sent from God because she changed the trajectory of his life. And right now, is the evidence of it. That's what we see.
It is. So, because people don't really you pray for stuff, right?
Yes.
And you think that it's going to come all put together.
Right.
And it's like a box. It's like a box that you got to put it together and give it that perfect look. But if you put in the work and trust in God that he sent you the right thing, it's a beautiful thing when you can trust in God and knowing that you can trust yourself.
That's the unconditional love. And the Bible calls it agape love. That's the love of God. Where we trust that the person we're with is the person we're designed to be with. So when we see their flaws, they say love covers a multitude of sins. So our love for them see the flaws as opportunities where my help is supposed to be at. And so we mesh in like fingers folding over, and we make a good glove together or a powerful fist in one. And we fight the world like that together as one.
And boy, let me tell you, do they?
Yes.
Do they?
Oh, that's a good thing.
Oh, do they? Because
Yes.
of what? Because if you don't know Tashawn, she's very quiet.
Okay.
And so reserved, sweet person.
Yes.
But she has this outer shell that like you don't really like, she don't let everybody in. So everybody don't see all of this. But when I say helpful, first one in the line, yes, a woman of her word, when she says she's gonna do it, she's gonna yes, do it. And one thing she don't play about is her family.
Yes, I can believe that. Her whole aura speaks woman of the family. Mm-hmm. Covering him as he's doing his thing, as he covers her by stepping out there. Mm-hmm. So like I said before, her energy, I didn't mean a crazy energy or exciting energy. I mean a very calming, positive energy. She sits there in her quiet strength, kind of like the book Tony Dungy wrote, Quiet Strength. That's her.
Yeah. Yeah. So listen, I just had to give a huge shout out to her, tell her happy birthday. If you see her out and about, wish her, give her flowers today. If you're friends with Brother John, I know he made a post. Also, you know what I mean?
Yes, hit that post up.
Yeah. And if you have a Sister Tashawn story, put it out there. You put it out there. Because, yes, she deserves it. And with that being said, I know we just kind of came on, but we still got to pay bills. All right, so I'm going to have to take a quick break. Tag a friend, tell a friend. You see, we got Maurice Scott in the building. Keys for Life. We're going to be talking about the walk that's happening tomorrow. Yes. And then also they're going to be at the foundation on Wednesday. We got, we're going to talk about Rick Ross coming in the city. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, doing this thing. We definitely got to talk about the comedy show Damon Davis did and just how the city is, you know, in his team, how the city is putting on for the city. Okay. Right. And how we need to get together. And then I saw hate. And how can you hate on somebody making boss moves? I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Me about that one.
So we're gonna talk about all of that after the 8:00 hour. You know, the phones are gonna be on. I want y'all to enjoy the conversation. Tag a friend, tell a friend. Good morning, Mama Blue, Tony Wells, Talisha, Sharonda, everybody that's listening. But yeah, tag a friend, tell a friend, and we shall be back.
On all its external borders. An American pastor held in a Chinese jail for 18 years is finally home. Strong words from the UN on the international...
Agape Souls Boutique. High-end boutique looks and quality with affordable pricing. Located at 6025 Martin Luther King Street South in St. Pete. Choose from our amazing selection of stylish, fashion-forward heels, wedges, boots, children's shoes, accessories, and much more. You can shop now and pay later, interest-free with Afterpay. Subscribe to our website and get huge savings on our latest products at AgapeSoulsBoutique.com. For more information, call 727-379-1318. Come give your feet the royal treatment and check us out at Agape Souls Boutique today.
After an apparent second attempt in 2 months on the life of Donald Trump. The former president was unharmed when shots were fired at a Florida golf course.
Attention voters, stay informed about the 2024 election schedule. Primary election day is August 20th. Make sure you're registered by July 22nd. Early voting runs from August 10th to the 18th, with hours from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and weekends from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mark your calendars for the general election on November 5th. Don't forget to register by October 7th. Your vote matters. Stay informed, get registered, and be heard. For more information, visit www.votepinellas.com. Attention voters, stay informed about the 2024 election schedule. Primary election day is August 20th. Make sure you're registered by July 22nd. Early voting runs from August 10th to the 18th, with hours from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and weekends from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mark your calendars for the general election on November 5th. Don't forget to register by October 7th. Your vote matters. Stay informed, get registered, and be heard. For more information, visit www.votepinellas.com. Attention voters, stay informed about the 2024 election schedule. Primary election day is August 20th. Make sure you're registered by July 22nd. Early voting runs from August 10th to the 18th, with hours from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and weekends from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mark your calendars for the general election on November 5th. Don't forget to register by October 7th. Your vote matters. Stay informed, get registered, and be heard. For more information, visit www.votepinellas.com.
And just like that, guess what?
We're back.
We are back. We are back. We are back. And we are back. Right? So, welcome to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. I am Kiana.
I am Maurice Scott.
Yes. And if you wasn't listening, you know, we are brought to you by CDAD because we are redefining what's cool because smart
is the new gangster.
Baby.
Baby.
Oh, Maurice, I think you listened to us.
Yes, I'm getting that.
I think you listened to us, like, because you yes, coming right on in. Yeah, I'm swinging my hair. I got a nice little silk press. Y'all see it.
Yes.
I ain't up in no bun today. I ain't got no wrap. My hair not curly. I don't have my fro. I done got it silked out for y'all. Y'all see this? Yeah.
Natural berries and juices.
Yes. All no, you want me to tell you all natural, just like you said. So no product in my hair. Yeah. So people who have natural hair, you can still get a nice silk press without putting chemicals in your hair. Now I do go to Miss D. Miss M. Yes. So that's Marion Davis. Yes. Is M Design, I believe it is.
I probably used to get a wash and set there
I mean, she could go in there and do her little thug thizzle with you.
Yes.
She could do, and maybe not thug thizzle, but she could do her razzle dazzle. She'll go in there, get a nice little steam treatment, maybe even get a wash, condition, massage your hair, come out there looking real nice.
Real nice.
Real nice.
Nice and shiny.
Yeah, look at this. Like, I mean,
silky smooth.
I got a nice trim throughout it. So yeah, if you're looking for a great stylist, hit up Marion Davis. Always on point. So if you were here the first top of the hour, we was talking about Sister Tashawn. Today is her birthday. She's wrapping up the end of the Virgo season, kinda.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
She's
and bringing it on home. 13 more days.
Okay, 13 more days.
Till my birthday.
To your birthday.
Oh, yeah. So if you don't know, I have all the fellas. They got to do spirit fingers because it's Libra season. Come on, you got to get on in.
Is that what's going on?
Yeah, Libra season. Look, come on, get on.
What is this again? Bringing the energies into you?
Yeah, it's like spirit fingers.
Yeah. Well,
right.
I bless you with the blood of Jesus. Right
Thank you. Thank you. I receive
it. Have a great time.
Yeah.
I'm praying. These days they go all month, so I'm gonna give you the whole month to enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I do. So believe me, once it kick in, it kick in.
We will know.
Oh, will you know?
Lights will be on.
What? Lights, they not cutting off.
That's okay. We'll take that.
So yes, Libra season coming up. I don't mean to step on no Virgos because I love the Virgos because my daughter is a Virgo.
Okay.
So she we had her birthday on the 31st of August. So she kind of at the beginning of the Virgo season, and then I'm at the beginning of the Libra season. So yeah, we know how to party.
Okay.
Hey, yeah. And so Urban Drinkery on here. I see that.
Okay.
Chandra, she's a Libra. Okay. Spirit fingers as well. Yeah. And then even for her birthday, she's gonna do this fabulous wedding.
Oh wow, good for her.
Yes.
Applause.
Yes, and yes. Yes, Libra's in the building. So if y'all in the building, chime in. So yeah, so you have this walk coming up.
Yes, it's gonna be actually tomorrow. Tomorrow evening on the south side of St. Petersburg. It's going to start around 5:30 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be in the cul-de-sac of 24th Street South, just on the south side of 18th Avenue South, across the street from Perkins Elementary. The parking would be at Perkins and any overflow at Stewart-ism, the church around the corner.
Okay.
Right on Walton. The walk, we're going to start right 1950, 52 area of the cul-de-sac. It's where I dropped my son off the last day I saw him.
Okay.
And he left from there on a bicycle and he cut through Perkins Elementary on over to Yale and Queensboro. So in essence, we're not going to cut through Perkins. We're going to go up to the north side of 18th Avenue, up to 25th, make a right, and go up a half a block or a block to Queensboro and go over to Yale where he lost his life.
Okay.
The walk is not just for our family. It's for everyone who has lost a loved one to this gun violence and anybody that's been impacted. But very especially this time, my son, the very first time he ever brought a girl home to say he liked the young lady's name was Yvonne Abernathy. She describes herself as the tall one, the cute one.
Okay.
Beautiful spirit. She's always been kind. And even after we lost him, she was always at every event showing up, even though it had been some time since they had been together. So we honor her. Unfortunately, Yvonne lost her life to gun violence just recently. She was the young lady who was murdered on 54th Avenue South at the apartments down there. And her dad, Dale, is a good friend of the family. We want to honor him. And we're going to do this walk in honor of her as well as our training the following day. Okay.
So the first girl your son ever came home, brought home.
Yvonne, we call her Vaughn.
Okay. And then a few years later, she lost her life.
Well, a few years after his life being lost, she lost her life to gun violence. And it was just recently, this year, just a couple months ago in the papers, if a couple months.
I remember that. She had the ex-boyfriend.
The ex-boyfriend come up from Miami, met her early that morning when she was going to work and took her life in a cowardly way. Right in front of her apartment, and what was difficult was that her parent, her dad, and his girl was inside. Precious, she's a wonderful lady. He came out rushing to
find his baby there.
Found his baby there. And what do you do as a dad? How do you cross that walkway ever again to get into your apartment? How do you live in the area where you saw your child? And if I may say, I hope he don't mind. I think the gentleman who runs the security up top say he saw on the video that if he could have got out just a little bit earlier, he might have caught the guy, because he came out immediately. Dad did, and if he'd got out just a minute or so early, he could probably caught the guy. And
probably not even a minute, just a couple of seconds. You know, when you think about gun violence here in our community,
yes,
and even around the United States, you hear about it a lot. Like someone was just shooting at, I think it was Citrus Mall this weekend.
Yeah.
I saw on there. Now I didn't follow up. I will tell you this. So if anybody know anything about that, let me know. I did see that one had passed away from that. That's all I heard. And that's in our backyard.
Yeah.
When you look at it.
We're getting too used to it. It's so often now. It used to really shock us. But not everybody is shocked now. But there is a group of people that every time they hear something like that, those who have lost someone, every time they hear that, they lose their person. And they experience what's happening with the kid who's lost or shot.
It's triggers. It's definitely triggers. And so what we need to do is address why people are so comfortable or think that you need to go to this length, or why is taking a gun out, ending somebody's life, an option.
Right. Why is that a part of your conflict resolution?
Right.
Right. So which means that they haven't been taught the processes or the steps to reach to how to de-escalate a situation or how to properly address a situation that could lead to violence.
Right.
How to avert it. I think that the best thing we can do as a community is get to the kids as early as possible. We got to talk to them as early as possible, and we have to walk them through that process of what that impact's like. The reason we have to is because we have to have that seed planted in them that a nonviolent lifestyle is a lifestyle that's best for themselves, for their family, and their communities. And when they can see that a nonviolent lifestyle is something that is positive, also see some experiences or some examples of how you can avert a high energy situation, you might find that we have less violence as they grow up to an age where they might be susceptible to being influenced to commit violence.
Right. And I mean, so people are going to get upset.
Yes.
We know this, right?
Yeah. Anger's a part of life.
It is. It's an emotion that's definitely that can dictate people past that time.
Yeah.
Right.
Bible says be angry, but sin not.
And like you said, conflict resolution and where to place that anger and how to then be able to address it.
Yes.
In a healthy manner, because a lot of people who lash out with physical violence with it do not know how to articulate how they feel.
Yes.
At the time, and because they don't know how to articulate it, violence is what the
option that they actually choose.
Right.
I mean, it's a natural thing. We have the fight or flight system within ourselves, which was probably helpful when they had giant dinosaurs and animals running around. We had to be prepared to run or to fight and defend our lives or our families. But we don't necessarily have that now. We're at a stage in the human evolution where we can reason situations out. Now, what happens naturally with our bodies is that when we reach a situation where it's a heightened moment, the blood leaves our brain and goes to our extremities, our feet and our hands, so that we can either run or fight. What we can train kids is to recognize when they get to a point where some people, they clench their fist. If you ever notice some people that start in a calm conversation, as it gets difficult, their whole body stiffens up, or some people say they go red. If we can teach them to recognize the symptoms of them reaching to an uncontrollable stage, they can start to learn to take deep breaths. They can start to take a step back. We can also, like I told my niece the other day, what people think about you, it's not your business. A lot of times people are saying things, which for us in this day and age, it's most of the fights that we're having is about what people are saying about them involving in social media. So what people say about you is not your business. And we learn to find out that most people are speaking from their own perspectives.
Right.
And a lot of them are speaking through their own trauma. So their triggers are causing them to speak. Either there's sometimes they have a negative self-image of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They might see someone else that's growing.
Mm-hmm.
And when that person is starting to grow, they start to see their own inefficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
When they see their own inefficiencies, they feel bad about themselves. So
Right.
they project that negativity on someone else. And what happens is that can become just a simple comment on Facebook, which then a comment will come back. And after a while, people are being incited. And for some reason, our youth are putting a lot of strength and power and importance in what people are saying about them on social media.
And not even that. You know what? I'm also seeing another thing is that who people think you are, you feel you have to live up to it.
Yes.
You know, who people think you are, you feel like you got if you're the tough one, the one that never back down,
Yes.
the one that they always call when trouble come because you're going to handle business. You feel like you have to live up to that all the time to prove that you're the person that they say that you are. You're not the name that somebody gives you.
Right. No, you're not.
You know what I mean?
No, you're not.
Like, you're not that person, and you feel like you have to live up to that. And I was having a conversation with somebody and was like, hey, it don't make you tough that you feel like you have to let everybody know you a gangster.
Right.
That speaks volumes if you are. Like, if you don't play, you don't play.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You don't have to show anybody that everybody you walk up to, it don't have to be a pissing match to show that, like, oh, I'm the alpha in the room.
Yes.
Your presence show that without your actions.
Yes, there's a quiet strength that's admired.
Mm-hmm.
But anytime someone can get you angry and you respond, then they actually have control of you. So it's weak. It's actually a weak response.
It is.
I remember my first encounter with Christ, and how he died on the cross with all that power. I was like, wow, how does somebody with all that strength can call angels down, can sit there and take all of that?
Mm-hmm.
And what I found out, my whole worldview changed, and everything I thought was weak was strength, and everything I thought was strength was weak. I found out it took way much more strength to walk away from someone who's insulting you than it did to respond to them.
Because they pull you into this web, right? Yeah. When people have nothing to lose, they want people to come with them.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you have people that's depending on you,
yes,
then you make this decision, this out of anger, to pull a gun, because you typically, not only do you take somebody else's life or change somebody's life, you change yours as well.
Change yours, and everybody's connected to you as well.
And so the people that's depending on you no longer can depend on you, because now
you remove yourself out of a situation.
And to me, that doesn't make you cool.
Right.
That doesn't make you a man. A man strive to come home to their family. A woman strive to come home to the people that they love every day. The objective is to get home safe, not to get locked up, and not for your life to be taken.
No, not at all. They usually don't think it through. I just saw on social media, I think it was TikTok, a young man got sentenced to life without parole, and then a couple of more sentences afterwards. Prior to the sentence, he was standing tall. Mm-hmm. But this guy, he cried so hard, and he literally dropped. His attorney and a couple of other people had to lift him up. He cried like a baby when they gave him that sentence, because he never in a million years thought about it, or took the process to see what his actions was going to lead to. And I guarantee you, he never thought he'd never come home again. And this guy's never coming home again. But once he got that sentence, it became so real to him.
It hit him like a ton of bricks. Because you know what? People really think they're smarter than the system. Yes. Like, they be like, oh, no, I could get away with it. I could do this, yada, yada.
They practiced on 1,000 guys before you. This system's been practicing for years on slick guys. So you're not no smarter than the system.
And let's say you get away on one. But, I mean, life has a way of catching up with you, regardless. Yes. And all I'm going to say is, let's figure out other ways to handle our anger. Conflict resolution is a good. I know you do a lot of mentoring and doing speeches, talking to people about gun violence. And so, like, I am me. Everybody, if you listen to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, I'm an advocate, for carry.
Yes.
Like, I think, but I do believe that you have to use it properly, and you need to be trained.
Yes, you got to be trained, because most people are responding like the afraid police officer. The afraid police officer who's been trained, but is not prepared for that job. A lot of people who have not been trained, they're responding with that same flight or fight, and what's happening is that extension of their fist is now becoming a gun. So before they react, because remember the blood is dropped from their brain to their hands. So they're not thinking, so they're responding, and unfortunately they're responding with the gun, and they're taking people's lives. So again, like you say, conflict resolution is important. Recognizing situations that can lead to violence and how to step out of those situations. I know a lot of guys in prisons, we learn to watch people's body language. And you can see things developing very fast. A lot of those guys who've been there. And so you get to learn to.
So you say body language, because I study body language too. But I will tell you, because I've seen people who went to prison come back out, and there's tools that you needed to survive in prison.
Yes.
And those same tools can help you out here, but they can also hurt you.
Yes, they can hurt you. Well.
Especially out here, because you're in a different environment and you're trying to then
use animalistic keys in a regular world where it's
not and it's not like that. When you're thinking that, hey, where somebody will attack you in prison with these things, because these, and then out here it's not the same.
Well, it depends if you're doing survival or if you're in a mode of living and existing in a positive frame of mind. Because there are guys in prison that have reached their level of acceptance and a desire to live life in a positive way. And so they're training their minds to be prepared to do that. There are some people who are living on survival and they're just surviving. And when they get out, they're still surviving. And anytime you're surviving, you're on that high level of stress, which means you can respond any type of way.
So what can you say to some people? Because we're doing this men panel on Sunday.
Yes.
The 22nd.
What time?
3 p.m.
3 p.m. I think I leave late that evening, about 7 to 8 p.m. I might be.
Okay, you're supposed to come on in.
Yes.
Pack your bags in your car. You can leave from here, go to the airport.
Well, that's what we'll do then. I'll be there.
So
and everybody else come there as well.
Right, at Dave's on 16th Street, 1510 16th Street South. And it's going to be a good conversation as well. Everybody is welcome to come out. But this is focusing on the men, returning citizen, fatherhood, co-parenting, the stresses, the things that you deal with on a daily basis that maybe the average person don't know. Yes. You know what I mean? We have an idea, but to hear you speak out and figure out what can we help you now is look different for everybody.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But being able to have a conversation and being able to get just a glimpse of it, I think would be amazing. So we're doing that on the 22nd. Also, because the city realized how important Black men is, tomorrow also is a Black men panel about voting. Yes.
Yes, I saw that. I think AMP is on that one too.
I know Brother John is on that. Sean Bailey, Darren Ruthon, Jab. It's a couple.
Jab's on it.
Yeah. He definitely is. So that's gonna be. Hold on, let me make sure. I don't want to, because that one starts at 6 p.m.
So many people lost their lives for us to be able to vote. So we have to understand how it's important for us as Black men to vote, especially men who've gotten their rights back from whatever adverse situation they've overcome. You got to exercise those rights.
It is. So, and actually this is a virtual, is a hybrid. So it can be in person or virtual.
Okay.
At this one, there's a link. So
you can attend in person or you can watch it yourself online. Okay.
Yes, you really can. And this is from 6 to 8 tomorrow. We'll post that up on the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. Also, with the link on there as well. This will be live at the Woodson. African Museum.
Okay.
So yes, y'all please come out. This is another one. We need to address these problems. We need good mentors. We need people to guide our children in the right way. You know, we have the music out here, the drill music that's telling everybody it's cool to shoot them up, bang, bang.
Right. And,
you know?
And our kids are being programmed by that. And everybody who's in that stage of trying to figure out who they are easily and susceptible to those suggestions of that music and that's drill scene.
And, you know, we listen to like a lot of our rappers, right?
Yes.
And you see that they get locked up. And like we have the Thug trial, right?
Yes, Young Thug, I believe his name.
Yes. And people are really rooting for him to beat these charges. Right? And I'm thinking to myself, if he did those things, if he killed people, if he hurt people, why are we rallying around and saying like that's okay?
Yeah, that's a big one because we're confused about community pride and false senses of loyalty. I think, like I say in my training, anytime you murder someone in our community, all bets are off, regardless of what your race, creed, if you live in our neighborhood or what your job is. Once you murder someone, all bets should be off for everybody in that community. I'm not saying everybody should be against the guy. I mean, we shouldn't be protecting anybody that's murdering people in our communities because it's contrary to the community.
Right.
In African communities, they say it's survival of the group, not survival of the fittest.
Right.
And if one person in the group has lost their mind, the group has to get that person out of the group because easily that person can start murdering people in the group and eventually become the group. So we make sure in Africa that we deal with people that's doing things that are actually contrary to the peaceful living within the group.
And it made me think about this. I was dawning because I mean, you don't want nobody convicted for a crime they didn't do, right? But when you look at the crimes that's happening, it's crimes that's happening in our community.
Yes.
Right? It's our people. Right.
Yeah.
And we are rattling up like, free him, free him, free him. But if he terrorized people and took their lives, should we really be out here saying freedom? Because again, it's a sense of loyalty that we have to the people we look up to or that are celebrities that we shouldn't hold up to that standard.
It's our traditional position against the police and the criminal justice system as well.
Right.
It's been so unjust towards us that we know, as far as we as a people are concerned, we look at it as them and us. So regardless what's going on or what the circumstances are, we're totally against the criminal justice system until they take one of our kids' lives.
Right. And then it changes, right?
Yes.
And so that was just a thought in mind that I was having. It's like, we really out here saying, hey, free him.
Yeah.
We'd be like, free the murderer.
Yeah.
Like, and you look at even Kamala, when you think about this, a lot of people are saying, oh, she had the toughest crime laws. She locked up. They were murderers and rapers.
Yeah.
Like, how do you give a pass for somebody who took somebody's life or took somebody's innocence and think that they're not supposed to be convicted?
Well, justice should be blind. So each situation deserves its proper weighing. So because we're not sure about everything that has happened. I will say this. I was in Chicago speaking with a friend of mine named Brother Muhammad up there. And he said something that shocked me. I wanted to save the world. And he said, brother, man, when our people, our young men out there killing our women and children, they have to go. And I'm like, what you mean they have to go? No, I think they have to go. Because anytime you're killing our women and children in our community, at that point, you're killing our community because that's our future and those are our creators of life. So I understood that there are some people that may have some psychological issues, some mental health issues that don't allow them to live amongst other people in a positive way, or which cause them to want to take life with no regard for other people, how it affects anyone. And anytime a system or a person is going against the system, again, I say, like they say in Africa, we had to get them out of the group.
We do, because one bad apple spoils a bunch. And this is why I started out with this young thug talking about it. If, let's say, because I don't know if he's guilty or not, right? Let's say on the flip side, let's say he's guilty and he beats the system. Now we have a lot of young men and women that listen to his music and think that they can still beat the system like him. And then now they go the same approach that he did. And then what they're saying, terrorizing the community, taking people's lives because we as a community praised and said he needed to be free.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just how my mind works. You know what I mean? And I'm just thinking of the pros and cons. It's the scale in me that look at it both ways, right?
And I appreciate that. And anybody should appreciate that.
You know, and I'm not, again, this is just a conversation. I'm not saying he's guilty or innocent. But what I'm saying, if he is guilty, he gets off.
What's the message?
The message is that you can terrorize our community. You can take guns. You can be a thug. That what they would say, you can do these things. and then you get a pass from our community because the community's still gonna love on you and praise you.
Right. We're not holding them accountable for what they're doing. And so what we're doing in essence is raising up a cheer for that action. So those young people who are coming up don't have a deterrent to moving in that direction.
Right.
And we as an adults, and we are the watchers for the community, should always set the standards like parents does in the house. So these are some behaviors that we don't agree with. And once you step into these behaviors, there'll be some adjustments. There'll be some punishments. And we're going to know off the bat, this is not something we agree with. But when we're starting to praise these behaviors, then it's easy for someone who's
Good morning, Lisa.
Yeah, to get into these behaviors. And unfortunately, they're losing their lives by the truckload.
They are. They're not only by guns, but they're losing their lives by the prison system. You know what I mean? Like, losing your life doesn't mean that you no longer live. Like, you can lose your life by all your dreams and everything that you wanted to do, all your aspirations, everybody that your mother wanted you to be, your father wanted you to be, the things that you, all of it is snatched away, regardless if you're breathing here or behind bars.
Yes. I mean, one of the state attorneys, the girl who's over gang prosecution, she called me here and she said, there's a young man, he's fighting the case, and he found out he had some friends that he thought were his friends. And when they got in the system, they all told on each other. And he said he thought it was a code. He said, but he realized that the things that he was doing, his friends were doing, was wrong.
Yeah.
And that he realized that was all the things I thought my boys were going to be there with me. None of them were there at his trial. None of the people was in the streets when he came to his trial. And when it came down to it, the guys he was with turned against him. And he wanted to interview with me to share that information with the young people and the trainings that I do, to say, hey, the people that you think are your friends, they are not actually your friends. And your mama and your dad tell you that, or especially your grandmama tell you that
all the time.
Yeah.
There's some people ain't your friends.
Yeah.
There are, and you'll see in your paper, because what happened is you hang around people, but when you get your paperwork, you'll realize the people you were hanging around don't like you. They talk mess about you. They actually they're plotting against you, and these are the people that you have this undeniable loyalty to, who could care less if you woke up this morning.
Listen, my friend called me from the feds, I know, and he was loyal to our gang leader, KT King Troy. And when he got locked up in the feds showed him, here's 30 guys on your team that's already testifying against him, but we want you to hear this tape. And on this particular tape, you can hear him talking about killing my best friend. And my best friend remembered there was one day the guys came to pick him up, and they wanted him to ride in their car. And he thought about it. He said, told me to ride my own car. And when he said, I'm going to ride my car, they said, that's okay. And they left. And it was right around the time that they were plotting to kill him. And it was right before the feds came and picked up 112 of our guys. And they took them all away. My buddy was facing a double life. And eventually he did 8 years on it. But I'm just saying, though, you have no idea what the people that you're hanging out with is thinking. In fact, some of the guys who took my son's life were in my garage when they were young, eating and hanging out, eating out barbecue.
Yeah.
People you thought was your friends for life. One of the guys, even my son, was fighting for it. He didn't want the kid to get into any trouble. He had even told my daughter that my son's going home in a body bag. So while my son was standing in loyalty, saying, I don't want nothing to happen to this guy, and regardless of what happened, I'll take accountability for anything that happened. This guy was talking about taking his life. So you never know the people that you're with.
You don't, and you don't know what situation that you put yourself in. And there's a street code that people go by, and then there's real life.
Yes.
But I ain't gonna say real life, because street life is real life too.
Yep.
Or it's
real for the people that's involved.
It really is. But what happens is, when you live by that code in the streets, and I tell them, it's like you have street life where you have to watch your back.
Yes.
Caring and letting your guard down could make you lose your life, right?
Yes. Yep.
Because it's a lot of grimy people out there.
Sociopaths and psychopaths that care about nobody but themselves.
Right. And then there's a different part when you get over here, when you go to work, you don't want to be a part of the violence. Loving somebody and trusting somebody can hurt your feelings, not get you killed. It's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But people who have got the trauma of the street life, they think it's the same.
Yes, because they go into an employment area and they say you got fired. Why you got fired? My boss was talking crazy to me, stepping up to me like he wanted to do something. So I did something, you know what I mean? And
listen,
they don't realize they're tools. You can
and honestly, and I'll tell you, people who go to 9 to 5s, typically, we don't subscribe to all, but people who go to 9 to 5s want to go back home. This is why they go to 9 to 5.
Right.
If they not in the streets, they didn't want the street life. Right. If they didn't want to watch their back, take the, carry everywhere they go, go with grimy people.
Yes.
They go and figure out a different path. They don't want to take that path with them.
But we need to have that conversation that you guys are having with the men now, because they're transitioning from this life or death situation in the streets to the real world. Mm-hmm. And when I talked to my buddy, I said, you could have did a grievance against that guy because of what he said in front of other people. Mm-hmm. I said, there are tools that you can use in the job place to bring up a grievance about someone who's treating you unfairly. Mm-hmm. I said, there are even rules and there's an organization that'll fight for you. I said, but he's totally unaware, because the way he's always dealt with everything was if somebody stepped to him or said something disrespectfully, he responded verbally or physically. And I told him, being a big guy and an African-American, that was going to be a no right there.
It's going to get you in the system, get you somewhere that you don't want to go, right? Yes. Like I'm telling you, people, the dislike people have for you on your job is different than the dislike that they have.
Betty's better at snaking on the job.
But it's a different
job protected.
But it's a different kind of snaking. Yes. Like they might not want you to be their boss.
Right.
And you know what I mean?
They don't want you to succeed because they want to succeed.
Right. So. But they don't want to off you. No. They don't want to take your life.
Take your life. But in that sense, they want to take the life that you have providing for your family. So that is taking life in essence.
But it's a difference.
But it's not a physical life.
It's not a physical life. And so you have you have to approach it different.
Yes.
You do. And only way they can even take that your financial life if you still have that same mentality
of the street.
Of the streets. Because then you're ready to fight a battle physically where it needs to be mostly mental.
Yes. I remember telling him, I said, now you do understand your rent man ain't finna tell you to come in the front yard. Let's wrestle about this rent. Mm-mm. The light man ain't finna come and say, put the gloves on, let's box. I said, so now you're going to have to approach this thing called life differently than the way you did when you was out in the streets.
Right.
And that means that you're going to have to realize that the weakest thing you can ever do when you got your family depending on you is respond with emotion to any difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I'm going to say, listen, tomorrow there's a couple of things going on.
Okay.
We have your walk.
Yes.
It starts at 6:00, right?
5:30 p.m.
So 5:30 p.m.
Yes.
It's starting at Perkins.
Starting across the street, there's on 24th Street is a cul-de-sac.
Okay.
It's going to start right inside that cul-de-sac. You can park in Perkins and walk across the street.
Okay.
We're going to start right over there, and we're going to basically take the route my son, the last route he took to where he eventually that bicycle was laying on the ground. Mm-hmm. We'll be there.
Okay.
I'm excited to represent my son. It used to be totally sadness, but the more and more I grow in my faith in God, I know He's with us. I'll see Him again. Mm-hmm. This year, I choose to not be sad anymore. Just I guess last week,
but you know
it's
what?
Difficult, but,
but you know what? Even if you are sad, you have the right to be.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, give yourself permission to feel those emotions.
To at least process them, I guess.
Because we deny ourselves natural reactions. Like they say, men are not supposed to cry. And you hold that in and don't drop those tears. That's something naturally you do. When a baby comes in the world, it's already crying.
Yes.
And then we're telling men that you're not supposed to do that.
I tried to do that the first go round for the first year or so. I remember my daughter said, Dad, I remember Keith died that night. You didn't cry anything until later that night. You woke up in the middle of the night and you were crying. She said, but when they told us that Keith was dead, you didn't even cry. I had already saw that all the hospital people were in the room where we were. I'm like, well, if all the doctors are here, who's back there with that kid? Because they thought it was our Marquise or another. I said, so who's ever kid is back there, he's gone. And I got a feeling it's our kid, and I can't let my family know that. So my mind was already prepared
to protect.
But so I carried that into the walk, and about a year or so into this program, it caught up with me, and it just totally dropped me. And I think I was going across the skyway, and I looked up, and my son was gone, and I just screamed. And it took me 2 months or so to come back from that, because eventually your body gonna shut you down.
It will.
Sleeping 3 or 4 hours, going to every place you can, not saying no to speak, not saying no to any organization, just going, because you're going off of that hurt that you have in you.
And you feel like you got to save the world.
Right.
But you know who you're not saving?
You're not saving yourself. And when you don't save yourself, you're not prepared to help others, and you're not saving your child because he's already gone.
Right.
So what I had to find out was that, one, I had to trust God with it all. And if I'm going to help someone, it had to come from a place of love, not a place of desperation. And so right now I want to operate from a place of love, and my desire to help the community is because I love the community and I love our people, and I want our young men to survive and thrive past that stage where they think it's do or die. It's something beyond that, and they don't know that.
It is, because I'm telling you, as a parent, not bringing your child home, right? Losing a child is a kind of hurt that's undescribable.
You can never. You could think about your kid getting on the bus, or someone snatching them, or some getting hurt, or get hit by a car, and you think that's the worst. You got to multiply that by 3,000 to 10,000 before you can equal what it feels like when it actually happens. You have no idea. I told the girl, I'm sorry. I said my condolences when you lost your son. She said, no, baby, I'm sorry. You know, because I wish you didn't know.
Because it's when you, it's because people, there's no right way to say it, right?
Right.
And I do believe that when people come in to comfort you when you lose a child, I think they have the best interest
at heart.
Right.
But there's no right thing to say.
It's really
what
no.
What do you say?
There's nothing, because I know when I lost my son, I tell people I feel like my soul was snatched from me. Right?
Yes. It's never going to be filled.
Right. And there's nothing, and I don't care if he lived 5 years, 2 days, 30 seconds.
Yes.
Once you give life to something and something is snatched away from you, a piece of you is gone forever.
Yes.
And however you fill that void and find your purpose, like for me, like I said, this is why I end up being a big advocate for therapy. Everybody doesn't do it, but like I was in a real dark place, and I'm a happy person.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I've told this before, and what I realized is that I wasn't myself, and I was so angry that I was angry because I didn't want to live in that hurt spot anymore. But I had to allow myself to feel all those emotions, but not sit there. And a lot of people who lose their children sit in there because they think that's the way that you honor your child.
Yeah, and they end up dying from a broken heart.
Right. You really do.
And me as an African American man, I went to counseling as well. And I do it periodically when I see myself starting to drift a little bit. It's a good thing. It's a good way to see your thoughts, because most of the time they're reflecting to you right what you're thinking, and it helps you to process it a little bit better. And that's why it's important, for at least for me, to see it through.
And you need somebody who's not naturally connected to you,
that situation,
right, to help you navigate, because you know what you need to do.
Yes, right, and that's why they help you to process your thoughts, because you have the solution, you just can't see beyond your emotions, and
you let your emotions dictate it. And so, like, I knew God was real for me. I knew He was real.
That was number one.
And what I did was, for me, is that I realized if losing my son was the purpose for me to help other parents go through this, then God, why not me?
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so the purpose of my walk became different. Like I always say, I had to go to this dark place. I went into a cocoon so I can blossom into this beautiful butterfly. Like I'm Kiana times 5. I'm the 2.0 of Kiana, of the version that I was prior. I loved who I was prior, but I became even better because the experience became different, and the tools that I got in my belt became even stronger. But I see people who do it and then get lost in it.
Yes. Well, for me, I'll try to be quick as possible. I was intern at the Salvation Army with addictions counseling, mental health counseling degree, a certification I was working on. And I was working with a lot of the men over there getting better. And lost my son. When I went out the street to put the filler out, say, who did this? One of the guys talked to me and he said, hey, man, what you going to do with the information? I said, well, I kind of got about 50 to 150 guys at the center that's really looking for me to do the right thing. I've been telling them how good God is. So I guess I'll do what's the best thing to do. I won't do no retaliation myself. He said, I'm glad you told me because really I need some help, man. I was hoping you can help me. So that hit my heart. So I left there brokenhearted. I went back to the Salvation Army. And when I got there, they were all in the chapel praying. And when I went inside, they were praying for my family. And they were crying. And at the end, all the guys were coming. They were hugging me, and they was hugging, crying so hard. I'm like, wow, I thought they lost their kid. But this little old white lady walked up to me and tapped me on my rib, and I looked down. About 90 years old. She was speaking softly. And she said, see, you thought you needed them, but they needed you. Because they said if you're the person telling them about God and God can help you, he couldn't help them get sober. I knew at that moment it was bigger than me. And if my son was what it took to get into my purpose, which I wish it wasn't.
Right.
But for some reason, it was something that was part of the necessity, or God utilized it, what the enemy meant for bad, to put me into my purpose. And so if that had to be what happened, if this was going to happen, then I had to learn to trust God with it. That means I had to get into a deeper relationship with God. And of course, just like you, my purpose became a better, my walk became better in my purpose.
Because you can choose. You can choose which path you want to do.
Yes.
And what the devil knows your weaknesses.
Oh, my guys showed up. They wanted to get down.
Right. But they know where you, because and it seems like it's help.
Yes.
Right. You be like, oh yeah, I prayed for this. Blah, blah, blah. And the first thing that show up is something that's gonna bring more harm, and you think, oh, God heard my prayer.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
That's the way to go.
Oh yeah, I'm finna. Oh yeah. If God didn't want this to happen, it wouldn't.
I think with those pledges, I went all over the city, so I walked up on them guys. So everybody who's involved, they ended up seeing me, and my energy body told me. And then when I looked back and I saw the faces, once I put it all together, I said, wow. I walked up on. That's why this guy wouldn't take the pledge. One guy pushed it back, and another guy just jumped back, and I realized those were the two guys who were physically involved in murdering my son. And this was the group because of the whole energy. But I went all around, and my energies, from the streets, those instincts kick in, and I felt it. But I had to get away from that. Was what it was telling me.
Yeah.
But I could have chose to went to another direction. I'm purposely I'm capable. I got the people who can do it at the time, but I found something greater than me. And that's the biggest thing. You have to believe in something bigger than yourself. And I believe in God.
Right.
And I thank him for this whole process, because I found out that I wasn't the guy who I thought I was.
Right.
But I'm grateful for the guy he's making me.
Right. Say that again.
I am. I'm glad I'm not the guy I thought I was, but I'm grateful for the guy who he's making.
Because there's a different kind of strength when you know that you can help people and not hurt people.
Yes.
Right. And you feel like strength is showing that you can smush somebody with your fist.
Oh, I had a
you
bad
know what I
temper
mean? You know what I mean?
so-
When you think that your temper is the one that tells
That's
you that
power.
you're masculine,
But-
right?
But it's actually when you find out that's the weakest thing you can do is respond with that temper.
Right. That
It's
doesn't
humbling.
listen. And you know what I also find out is that people who have that temper and who are protectors think that if they show that gentle side, you lose that protection.
Right.
No, you don't lose it, because if you're a protector, you're always going to be protector.
Yes.
You just got to know when to pull it out.
Yes.
It's not always needed.
No.
Protection is walking away.
Yes.
And so you say, hey, y'all, it ain't worth it.
Yeah. Peacekeepers are those ones who have the potential of disrupting everything with violence, but they appropriately step in and say, hey, this is not going to happen. And other people realize, well, they can do something, but they don't. Let's back up off this thing. We don't want that
Right.
trouble.
Like, listen, hey,
So-
they over here with the BS.
Right.
We finna go somewhere and go where we can laugh.
Yes.
It's so, if you see somebody who always angry, it's so much energy that you have to take. Like when I was angry, I
heavy.
was mentally drained.
Heavy.
Right?
every day.
Every day that I'm like
People stop hanging around you. They don't want to hear your story anymore because you become too heavy for
and
them.
I thought I hit it. Like, honestly, like my friends was like, because I would plaster on a smile, right?
Yes.
And I really wasn't like, I probably was a little bit more snappy
Yes.
than normal. But like I literally, I signed up for therapy. I was sitting in the car. I saw a car.
Yes.
and I wanted to ram my car into this car.
Wow.
Right? Because I felt this much anger and hurt towards this person. And I'm sitting up there like putting my foot on the gas, the engine roaring and everything. And I sat there for like 5 minutes contemplating it. Right? And I'm like, I'm just going back and forth, tears coming down my eyes. Like, I'm so angry.
Wow.
And I had to talk myself off that ledge.
Wow.
And once I did that, I went home, got on my computer, and then I immediately emailed the therapist that they had offered to me when my son passed away.
Yes.
Because I said I needed those services. Like I couldn't operate in that anger, that space anymore because so many people depended on me.
Yes.
How could I help them? How could I be?
And you had other children.
So yes, I do. You know what I mean? I have an older child. So my children, I have one biological, one heaven, and then I have a whole community of children that call me mom.
They're still looking for
right.
answers from you.
My grown children today, even if I had them physically or they just came into my aura, right?
Yes.
They still call me to this day and ask me what to do. My kids still need me.
Yes.
I could not walk away for them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I had to figure out a way where I could be the best me, and I had to release it some way. And me ramming my car in somebody else's car was not going to be the way, because then this path would have been totally different. You wouldn't have never probably heard Kiana on the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club.
Wow.
You know, because prior to this, I was the epitome of behind the scenes. I did all the stuff. I never got into the front too much. And this kind of pushed me out.
Yes.
To even be a voice for the voiceless.
Yes. Same here. You know, as a young guy, I prided myself. I went into any neighborhood I wanted to. That was my geek. Was I'm gonna go anywhere. Most guys had to stay in their neighborhoods because we all were gang affiliated. But I went anywhere. And as a young man, that's some sort of pride. That's what the young men are going through. But what happened is, after all this went and happened in my life, God took that and used that to now I'm not afraid to go in anybody's neighborhood who's having a problem with violence.
Right.
I'll go to both sides if they're warrant, and I talk to both sides. But most people don't. I found out that everything that happened in my life, God is using it right now in a different way. And it was all preparation for
when
now.
you can walk into anybody's community as a gangster, and let's say there's rules to it. Like if you wear red, you can't walk in the blue.
Right.
Or you can't walk in the green or whatever color it is.
I lived on those times.
Right. Yes. But yet you still walked in there. Yes. And just think, when you switched over and still been the power that you able to walk in these neighborhoods still without any shame and not feeling like your life is threatened.
Right.
God was preparing you for this
all the time.
And all he wanted you to do is to believe and trust in him and know that I got your back.
Right. And it's different because at that time I had a level, we had a level of fear that was necessary to stay alive. So you never went anywhere thinking that you were all that and nobody can die, because you found out anybody can get it in any time.
Right.
So you had a level of fear with you. And with God, what you do is you take all your fears and you lay it on him. And you have to do it over time and practice, which means that before I go, I pray. Sometimes while I'm in the areas, I'm praying. And sometimes after I leave, I have to pray because the energies of that area will come on top of me as well. But at the same time, you learn that what overcomes it is I count, because I love these guys. And the one thing about people, they can see love.
Yes.
And they're going to push the envelope at first to see who you are. And once they see what's real, they just flow right into it.
And you want me to tell you, if any men or women that are listening who thinks that the world is against them, right?
Right.
We hear that a lot of people say, like, I'm a king, I'm a queen, right? We hear that all the time.
Right. That's Western philosophy, king of the mountain type thing.
Right. But if you are, you are who you say you are,
yes,
in any kingdom, most people love their king and their queen. There's only a few people that do not.
Depends.
No, in most, not all. Okay. But if you're a good king or a good queen.
Right. That's what I would say. People rejoice when the king is good. And
right.
The world's in trouble.
But if you focus on the people that do not, then you push that to other people. If you focus on the people that love you, they're going to protect you. They're they're not gonna let harm happen to you. When you are good people, typically, good stuff come to you. But when you focus on the negative, you then start to spread the negativity around. So people who looked at you in a certain way, you then turn them against you because of your thoughts.
Okay, so help me to understand this. What I'm hearing you saying is that when you have some people who don't like you, and you feed into their negativity, what happens is it ends up blowing up, becoming that much more greater. And then some people who were on the line a little bit, so to say, or easily influenced, they can get caught up in that as well. So their negativity starts to grow. But when you start to focus on the positivity and the love can grow instead of the hate. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
So whatever part of you that you feed the most is going to be the greater.
Yes.
So your thoughts come out in your words, right? And then once you start to speak it, you start to have to live it. Right.
Yes.
And so if you speak negativity, if you think everybody's against you, you're going to look for everybody that's against you.
Yeah, your body's naturally going to look for evidence of what you believe is going on.
Right. Even if it's not true.
Yes. Even if it's not true. If you believe it, so a man believe it, so it is.
And then it becomes your reality.
Yes.
And what happens is when you think people are against you, you start to do stuff to put people on edge, to provoke them. And then now they are against you.
Their fight or flight has been activated.
Right.
And now you having that validation that it's happening. So now you push it even further and cause more of conflict for yourself and the community. I will say this in reference to your group.
Oh, but listen, we got 1 minute.
1 minute.
1 minute.
I'll say this. If we have a king or queen, and they're loving the community, and there's a few people out there that's against them, there are some of us out there, we're qualified, and God chose us to go in the fire and get them. You know who you are. You've been in the fire. We're the only ones who can go back and get them. I implore you to take off your pride and your ego. Just want to be better. Part of you paying back for getting out of that is going back to get someone else. Save someone else. Take at least one person with you.
And everybody that's on this panel on the 22nd is those people. You know what I mean? Who wants to go back in the fire and help people? Yes. Our mental health lets you know that we're that people. We are the village. We are the people that's fighting for you to have a better day, even when you don't feel like you deserve it.
That's right.
Right?
We survive the group.
Right. So listen, come out. The walk is tomorrow.
Tomorrow, 5:30 p.m., 18th Avenue and 24th Street South, right in the cul-de-sac. We'll be leaving there.
And then so if you going there, or you have the option to go to the Black men voting, that's at 6:00. That's hybrid. And honestly, since it's hybrid, you could do both.
Yes.
Right? Yes. You can do the walk, log in on your phone.
Yes.
And and you can do that. And then on the 22nd, we have this mental health conversation. This is the second of the series. Check on your strongest friends. Be looking out for it. Be the change you want to be or see. Write down those 5 things that make you feel good. Sister Hughes, shout up all around the room. Lose Your Shoes is up next. I am Kiana.
I am Marie Scott, Keys for Life.
And this has been the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. And we will see y'all on Wednesday.
All right. Trust God.
Amen.